Get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon, and in this episode, they have a lot to say about Biden. They're talking about, in this clip, they're talking about Trump and Biden. They're more talking about Trump at the beginning, but then they lead off to Biden, and Tim says something pretty, I don't know, revealing, you know, if I could use that word, revealing about Biden and why they're choosing to run him when obviously it was not a good choice. You know, I don't like Newsom at all, but if they started with Newsom, if like right out the gate, they got Biden to just pass the torch to Newsom and this whole election cycle, it's been Newsom versus Trump, that would be a whole different thing. Newsom would have been like, as many debates as you want. Let's go. You know, he'd be like, I lost $24 billion in my own state, and I got no problem debating you as if I'm a good governor. And that would be it. Like, they would just go at it head to head for sure. But they didn't do that. But Tim says something very, very revealing. They also talk about something that Trump said or didn't say. I can't verify. I'm finding the same things that that Jamie found about him saying that he would bomb Russia or China. Not that he would now, that he would have preemptively. It's very slippery what's going on. A lot of things are being said about Trump recently in order to make him seem a little crazier than usual. Let's get into it. Let's start right here. Do I have it slowed down? Let's go.
He was going to pull out of NATO?
He said that. He also said he would have bombed, you know, at a fundraiser the other day, he said he would have bombed Russia and China. Like,
what?
He's very bellicose.
No.
Yes,
he said
did.
that?
You can look at, yeah,
oh
absolutely.
My God. Google
so he's
that.
saying all kinds of wild stuff now. I don't think he would have, but I think it might also help to be that bellicose and say all those wild things.
Saying that you would bomb China and Russia?
He said at a fundraiser recently, and the people in the fundraiser were kind of shocked. He was basically like, yeah, we would have hit him, and you know, we would have done it. Yeah, he's been, you know.
I got to see this.
No, he's right here.
Trump at fundraiser says we would have bombed Russia and China. What? What? What did he say? Where did it say it? What the fuck did he say? I believe that President Trump will be supportive of Taiwan when he becomes president. He was there the first term. So where does it say that he would bomb? What does it say here? During a rally in Bronx, referenced several authoritarian leaders, including Vladimir Putin, saying they were at the top of their game, whether you like it or not. The world is going to respect us again if he's reelected, he claims. The bomb revelation was made in a Washington Post report on Trump's recent fundraising tour, during which he tested the boundaries of federal campaign finance laws, according to experts. At a fundraiser in New York earlier this month, Mr. Trump told the attendees he wanted to hear what they had on their minds, hearing options on former UN ambassador and his final Republican primary opponent, Nikki Haley, and several issues connected to Israel. Mr. Trump is routinely, where does it say about the bomb thing? Where does it say that? I don't see any of this. That should be like front and center if it's in the headline.
No, for sure.
Like, why you make me go all the? Where does it say you bomb them?
It had it in quotes right here. It says the bomb revelation was made, but
right. But what does that mean?
Amongst the people talking.
Yeah, what does that mean? Like they're not saying his quote. That's a real sneaky thing to do.
Yeah.
The bomb revelation was made in a Washington Post report on Trump's recent fundraising tour. But what was it?
Let me find a different article on it.
Yeah.
See if they have a quote.
Yeah, that seems Trump would bomb Moscow.
Allegedly said he would.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly.
Well, he says a lot of stuff, and
right,
he might not have said this.
But that's a crazy Yahoo title.
Right.
Trump suggested at fundraiser he would have bombed. Like, that seems to me like, unless you have the fucking quote, you shouldn't be saying that.
It is kind of funny.
Sometimes out crazy Putin. That's a great headline. Oh my God, the Hill said that, but this doesn't say he was going to bomb anybody.
It says
what
it's according to the Kiev Independent, which is what Yahoo reposted. The formerly and possibly future president quote.
Let me say this. In what Trump said a few days before, according to the Kiev Independent's retelling of a May 28th story in the Washington Post, the former and possibly future president suggested at a fundraising event that he would have bombed Moscow in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. But this is not saying his actual quote. He also said, in quotes, he would attack Beijing if China invaded Taiwan on his watch. But is that, it's got an asterisk? Is that, no, it's quote. So is that his quote? Did he say that, though? Because it's weird. It's saying, the quote is that he said he would attack Beijing. And so, in quotes, that way, is that his quote, though? Attack Beijing if China invaded Taiwan on his watch. Did he actually say that? Or is this a retelling of what this person is saying and they're putting that in quotes? The whole thing is a little slippery.
It is slippery.
Because if you're not, it's suggested at a fundraising event, he would have bombed Moscow. Like, that seems like you should have that quote.
You would think.
Trump makes sweeping promises to donors on an audacious fundraising tour. It doesn't say anything in there about bombing, does it? In the Washington Post. Google they'll just do a find on this big-ass article and look for bomb. Here it goes. Okay, for example, at one event, he suggested he would have bombed Moscow and Beijing if Russia invaded Ukraine and China, or China invaded Taiwan, surprising some of the donors. But you don't have the quote.
No, he said it before with John Daly with the golfer. He did say, I told Vladimir I'd hit Moscow. He did say that.
Jesus
And he did say
Christ.
that. He said, and you can get this, he did say to John Daly, he basically said, like, listen, I told him, I said, if you go in, we'll hit Moscow. And Trump said, I don't know if he believed me or not, but you just got to say these things. You know, he was kind of telegraphing it. But listen, I think that, you know, there's probably a value to some of that talk.
Nuclear power is like their friend of him. You know, he was a friend of mine. I got along great with him. I said, Vladimir, if you're doing, we're hitting Moscow. I said, we're going to hit Moscow. And he sort of believed me, like 5%, 10%. That's all you need. He never did it during my time, John, you know.
No.
We're all talking about it.
No, it's
Why did
funny.
he do this during the last 4 years? Because he knew he couldn't.
It's funny how she didn't bother you either.
Yeah, no, she didn't bother me either. I told him the same thing.
John Daly getting hammered,
Yeah.
chatting it up with the president.
Guy's got an amazing line.
I got to get that guy in here.
Yeah.
John Daly, if
That'd
you're
be
out there.
Epic.
Let's get hammered.
Yeah, but so, I mean, who knows if he said it at the fundraiser or not. They are slippery and they do attribute things to him. And there's maybe more context to it.
Yeah, it's real hard to know. But just saying that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you believe me, maybe 5%.
Yeah, but I mean, I think maybe that's good. There's something good about
A maniac.
when you have a maniac in there who is, you know, a guy that's unpredictable. I think maybe Kim Jong-un, you know, when he would do that and then Trump was on the other end of that, maybe that was perhaps helpful.
Maybe.
In that
I don't know,
spot.
but do you really want to be playing chicken with fucking Russia?
No, I think we got to chill.
Yeah.
I think we got to chill across the board.
board.
It doesn't feel like we're chilling. It feels like and it feels like we're on this inevitable course towards World War III. It's every article and headline. It's like, guys, let's pull it back. Let's have a summer here.
Yeah, let's relax a little
You
bit.
know?
But it's not going to relax because it's getting close to November.
And everybody's got to be terrified.
Oh, my God. Aren't you?
Well, depending on which article I read or media I consume, I don't know. It feels like they're doing a lot to keep him from running. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you have the Stormy Daniels thing, which was a misdemeanor. It's, you know, this was elevated to this felony. You know, it was like it would have never been prosecuted had he not been running for president. People,
And that scares the shit out of me.
that's terrible.
That,
and then
that stuff's crazy.
absolutely, and the Republicans are going to do it back. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to have, because they weaponized the government against, you know, when you had like the Steele dossier and Hillary Clinton, you had all of this. What ended up being, you know, faulty intelligence about him being controlled by Russia. And then they had all of these investigations and spent all of this time and energy trying to get him and couldn't. And then they tried to get him on like inflating the prices of the buildings he owns. And now they finally got him on paying hush money to someone, to a porn star.
Well, what they got him on was the inappropriate the way they put it in the ledger.
Right, the way they put it in the ledger, the way they enter. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
34 times. So it's 34 different felonies.
And I know people that hate Trump that go, they shouldn't have done that.
Well, that's scary. If someone,
scary.
If he gets in office, you don't think that judges and prosecutors that are sympathetic to him would do the same thing?
Absolutely.
That's probably what's scaring the Biden people more than anything, is the retribution. I mean, this guy is he's a vindictive guy. He's always been a guy that goes after people who go after him. You know, he hits back harder than they hit him. And if they're doing this to him, and he knows all the people that did it.
Well, you have all the guys now, his guys, right? Bannon, Stephen Miller, all these guys. They are all saying, hey, where are you? DAs all over the country, start bringing cases against prominent Democrats.
Yeah, they're
Why
worried.
not?
They're worried. You know, they're worried because if Trump doesn't get in, then... Do you remember what happened when Trump lost and then all these people were saying everybody who supported him, they should be on a list? Like,
right.
Whoa.
No, it was insane.
Whoa.
Are they willing to start a world war before this election? That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Are they willing to start a world war before this election? What are they willing to do? What are they not willing to do?
Well,
Are
maybe
they,
a world war gets started because they don't want Trump in office. Maybe someone else starts it.
I'm wondering how far they're willing to go. I'm also wondering how other countries, like you just said, might take advantage.
Yeah, maybe they would take advantage of it because
this.
they know that's the best way to keep Trump from being the president. If Trump is promising all these embargoes and all this different shit that he's going to do to China and everything he's going to do around the world, if I was in another country, I'd be like, we don't want that.
No.
Like, well, escalate things, you know, right around October, invade Taiwan, take that over.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people are thinking that there is a possibility that you see somebody makes a move.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, what better time to make a move than the chaos of us right now?
Right.
You got a choice between, what the Democrats keep calling a convicted felon, Convicted
Right.
felon. He's a convicted felon, and they, there's been all this talk about repeating that over and over again.
Right.
Like, make sure we get that
No one
message out
cares.
there.
No one cares.
Convicted felon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a stupid thing.
Well, he's got a lot of people voting for him now that wouldn't have voted for him before.
There's a lot of people, I think, that are also seeing it would be one thing. I mean, listen, I have nothing good to say about Gavin Newsom, but if you had a guy that was had his faculties, could speak, was of a reasonable age or whatever,
could gaslight better.
But the fact that you have this guy who's so old that, to me, does suggest, for whatever reason, they're terrified of replacing him with someone else. I do not know why. I don't know why. But it feels like who's ever running things right now does not want anybody coming in and looking under the hood.
Yeah. Right.
That does feel like that.
Like
I could
if
be
you're
wrong.
in business,
Yep. Let me hear what Joe had to say.
someone they won't let you look at the
Why
books.
are they killing Assange?
They won't let you look at the books, and then also Assange. Always have to shout that out whenever that he comes up. He actually talks about Assange in the fact of why are they doing what they're doing to him so openly? What is it that he actually exposed? But let's get into what he was just talking about. Someone doesn't want people looking under the hood. Now, if you're wondering why I have the glasses on, come on. You know what this is, all right? You know what this is. They got glasses on. I put the glasses on. That's it. All right? And why aren't yours on? That's a better question. How come you don't have yours on? Now, people not wanting people to see under the hood, that really does seem like what's going on. Because here's the thing. Again, exactly like what Tim said. I don't like Gavin Newsom. I don't like the way he operates. I don't like the way he talks. I think he is like just that politician that you would see in a TV show where you're like, oh man, glad that guy's not real. Glad this is just a character. Wow, this actor's really good. He's making me not like him at all. That's what Gavin is. I don't like him at all. But if he got into office, he would have ideas. He's young enough that he'd be like, oh, I want to see some of this happen. I want to do this. Oh, don't worry, I'll write my own speech. Like I don't think, he doesn't seem like he would go along. He would go along with things, but he has the ability to go off track. They can't weekend at Bernie's Gavin Newsom. They can direct him around. Maybe they got some dirt on him, push him here, push him there. But again, he's going to have some people in mind where he's going to be like, let these people go. I got some people who've been with me for a while, and they also have some of my secrets as well. So I got to kind of do this solid for him. He might shift things around a little bit. Maybe that's why they didn't go with him. It's really true. Whoever is behind the scenes, and listen, I've brought him up before. Maybe I'll cover him on the other channel. But Blinken, something's going on with Blinken. I've thought that you remember the whole scandal of Biden with his chin. Remember he was doing an interview. He was a little spacey in his chin and people thought his face was falling off or something like that. But Blinken was right behind him, like staring a hole into the back of his head. Ever since then, I'm like, who is this guy? And as you look into him and his family, I think his dad was involved in the Epstein case. And it's just a lot of weird things, a lot of weird connections that guy has. So when I look at him, I'm starting to look at him and say, President Blinken. I'm starting to do that every time I see him. I'm saying it jokingly, but I don't know. You got to look into that guy a little bit. So something's going on with the fact that they're running Biden. And maybe it's as simple as, wow, we get to do whatever we want as long as this guy's president. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's really just, there's deep state, and maybe this is just the people behind Biden are just like, no, we got it good. We can get another 4 years of this. And we can further the agenda that needs to be furthered, which is Agenda 2030, in my opinion. But that's for another episode, many episodes. I'll say this about what they said about Trump. If Trump said that type of thing at his fundraiser, there would be so many videos. You would have saw Officer Tatum do a video, Black Conservative Perspective, me, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro. There wouldn't be one person who wouldn't have that video pumping. Everybody would have been talking about that video. The mainstream media, Joe Scarborough would be in tears, ripping his shirt. Did you hear what he said? It's gonna be World War III. He'd be screaming, jumping up and down on his desk. It would be crazy. It'd be wild. They'd cart Van Jones out. I don't know where Van Jones has been. They'd get him fake crying. I don't know how to tell my son. Snot and everything coming out. They would do all sorts of stuff if they actually had him saying that. And it wouldn't just be quotes. They would be pulling out the full videos if he actually said something like that. So I really think he didn't say something like that. But also I do think he would say some stuff like that. Talking to Vladimir. Saying, hey, listen, you do this, I'm going to hit Moscow. You know, they're just going back and forth. You're not going to do anything to me. I got the biggest army. I don't care if you're friends with the Chinese guy over there. I don't care. You know who I am. I'll hit it. You want me to hit it? I'll do it tomorrow. You saw what I did to Iran, right? You saw what I did to the general, no? That could happen to anybody. You good? Okay, we're good. I wouldn't put it past Trump to talk like that to somebody. Even Putin, man. Anyways, they said he would have. And then they called Trump a maniac. I got to say real quick. Not a maniac. That's a leader. That's what a leader does. A leader says those things. Listen, I don't go around hitting people or anything. But if I'm in a confrontation with a guy, you know, maybe my wife and kids are behind me, people I care about, America's behind me, I might say, hey, listen, you take another step, I'm going to punch you in the face. I don't want to. And I'm hoping that he doesn't take another step because I just said that. But if he does, he left me no choice. I said it. Now I'm going to do it. It might just be one of those things. And I know people are like, oh, being a leader is so much more than that. Nah, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's, I'm going to tell you what is and is not going to happen with my country, with the war landscape, what you're going to do in Ukraine. I'm going to tell you what's what. You're not going to tell me anything. I think Trump has those type of cojones to do that type of thing. Just saying that. And they are keeping him from running. And to the revenge thing, I've already covered this. I just made a video about this on my other channel. Trump talks to Dr. Phil about revenge, getting revenge. Dr. Phil actually brings it up to Trump, and he's trying to convince him not to take revenge. Trump makes it very clear that his revenge is going to be success. Now, here's the thing. As he's saying that, you can tell that he's mad about what these people have done because he's in the midst of it. He has sentencing in a month. In exactly a month, he has to be sentenced. And we're going to see what his sentence is. And then there's another case. There's more. So he's in the middle of this whole thing. You can tell he's angry about what's going on. They're trying to make him a convicted felon. They're trying to disgrace his name, his family name. So you can tell he's mad, but he is sticking to the whole thing. He's saying, you're going to be proud of what we're going to do in this administration. It's going to be successful. Revenge is going to be success, and that's what it's going to be, you know? And you know what? There's some people who would argue that's not enough. You know, I've seen people, there are people who are arguing that's not enough. And you know what? I've already said this on the other channel, but I'll say this again. This is what I'm thinking. If it's just, oh, well, Biden, you know, he hit this guy Corn Pop 25 years ago, and we got Corn Pop's great-grandson here, and he's suing you, and you got to give him reparations. You got to give him your whole family dynasty, everything. I'm going to be like, this is ridiculous. You can't do that. Come on. Right? That's ridiculous. If it's some things that are justified, like maybe there was $250 billion given to X country by X person, and maybe some guy who was big got 10%, and now, you know, there's an account with billions of dollars in it, and, you know, maybe if something happened like that, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, listen, somebody has to go to jail. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if it's justified, it makes sense. But if it's anything along the lines of what Trump is going through now, not justified, I wouldn't want to see it. I'm a Trump supporter. I still wouldn't want to see that from him. And I would make a video calling the whole thing out if I did see that type of thing. But that's all I got for you guys here. Oh, one more thing. Imagine with this whole back and forth thing, this whole revenge thing. Imagine this is how the government gets cleaned up. Could you imagine they do it back to the Democrats, bunch of convictions. Democrats do it to the Republicans, you know, the shady ones, bunch of convictions. And then by the time the smoke clears, you know, It's 20, what would it be, 2032. It's like you finally get some, just, it's all legit now. Everything's cleaned up. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I'm joking, of course, but we'll see. We'll see. Because, you know, there are people in the government doing shady things. And they should kind of, you know, I'm not saying go to jail, but maybe it depends what you did. There's so many people in the government doing different things that are so shady. And then there's the things that they're allowed to do that are shady, like working with the lobbyists the way they do. You know, like Lindsey Graham's never going to jail. But I think we can all agree that he seems like he's doing shady stuff at times. You look at his top donors, and then you see that he always wants to go to war. You know what I mean? And then the top donors are defense contractors, and he always wants to go to war. It's like, that's shady. It's not against the law. It's completely legal. It's okay. It's okay, I guess. I don't know, man. There needs some cleaning up to do. I hope this time when Trump's cleaning up the swamp that he's not using one of these pool cleaners. I hope he just unplugs the thing, just let it drain and just scoop everything out. You know what I mean? Get a shovel. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.